I think I'm recording. And come back to this game finally with the coward's approach by doing a pre-recording. Instead of trying to stumble over my words. Last time I tried this, it was during a stream and I kind of gave up. Because I lost faith in myself, to put it mildly. I was trying to read the visual novel section. I guess you can call it text adventure section? Whatever.
Whenever I interacted with Kaine, I was reminded about something from my past. Maybe my mind has been confusing her with my sister this whole time. Anyway...
This time it's just myself, there's no one else, so I won't give up. Kaine's dreams, discrimination. You know what the worst part is? I think I was near the end last time when I tried doing this too when I gave up. The sound of rain filled the village. The steep cliffs that surround the area magnified sound, causing even the slightest drizzle to rattle like a thunderstorm. Thin wisps of smoke streamed from huts as the villagers huddled in their homes and waited out the rain. A single child, however, is my cursor? It isn't away from me. Oops. A single child, however, had braved the downpour and was now wandering slowly towards a wooden hog-shaped water vein in the center of town. The wanderer reached the vein, which had existed for as long as any could remember, and stared. The child's face was simultaneously delicate and fierce, like a teacup that survived a shipwreck, though traits combined with pale white skin to give the face an almost sexless quality. If the beak turns east, I go home. If it stays west, then I... The child blinked, rain slowly dripped down the young one's short hair and began a slow descent to the ground. Come on. Come on. The child felt a slight breeze and watched as the vein slowly creaked to life. Spinning this way and that for a moment, it finally settled with the beak pointing firmly towards the east. East? Really? Before the vein could move again, a jagged rock came spinning and tumbling through the air, striking home against the child's head. The force of the blow dropped the child to the ground as the hailstones began to fall all around. Oh no, they found me. A heartbreaking smile crept across the child's face as the stones continued their assault. Through the rain, the sound of multiple footsteps grew louder before her voice rang out. Yoo-hoo, Kaine! That's not really an appropriate voice for a bully. The voice belonged to Demo, worst of all the bullies in the area. I was thinking about this some more and decided this is probably the best way to do this, since I also had to kind of wander around my own and find the weapons I missed. So I guess this is okay. Then maybe I'll just stream C&D, and then the other end, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Just making this up as I go along and hoping for the best. Trying my best. As Kaine struggled to stand, a final stone came skittering through the mud and bounced against her foot. Blood oozed from a cut above her eyes and blurred her vision. But she could make out the shapes of Demo and his usual gang of idiots. The boy seemed taken aback for a moment by Kaine's seeming indifference to the blood dripping from her face, but quickly regained his bravado. What's up, freak? You like the rain? You like getting all wet? Or did you finally decide to run away from home? Though she knew it was futile, Kaine turned to leave. Before she could get more than a few steps, the other children scrambled to surround her, cruelty burning in their eyes. Kaine knew those were not the only eyes on her. The tormentor's parents watched from the safety of their homes. She was attuned to this sensation. It was one she experienced many times before. While some villagers simply turned a blind eye to the actions of their children, many encouraged it openly. In a society ruled by superstition and fear, Kaine was something to be hated, and if possible, destroyed. I didn't say you could leave, freak. Demo's words chewed her like a worm through an apple. He can't hurt me, she lied to herself. Be strong, be brave, he can't hurt me, he can't hurt me, he can't hurt. Oh look, no freak is gonna cry. What's wrong? Are you sad that everyone hates you and wants you dead? Kaine prayed for the rain to flip down and carry her away from a world that seemed to have no place for her. And if there were gods, they chose to ignore her. As Demo crept ever closer, the clouds began to thin and the rain slowed. Even the weather hates me. I'm useless. A failure. I wish Demo's rock had taken my head off. What's my mute button on Windows again? Even though I'm not streaming, I still need to cut from Clear Metro. Kinda couldn't meet Dino's leering gaze. She lowered her eyes and stared at the muddy ground below. The bully moved forward until he was inches away. She could smell the scent of old meat on spread veal. I ate kind of 3-day-old Yonah today in my sandwich. It tasted... It smelled weird. It tasted kind of weird, but I think I'm okay. It was in the fridge the whole time, so it should be alright. The boy grabbed Kanye's face with thick fingers and yanked it upwards. She tried to turn away, but he forced her gaze back and jammed his thumb against her eyelid to pry it open. Show me. No. Did you say no? NieR grinned evilly. You don't say no to me. No one says no to me. Not even taking his attention from Kaine, he called to his cohorts. Come on guys, let's get a freak what she deserves. As soon as Timo finished, kicks and blows began to rain down upon Kaine. Timo paused, still grinning, as Kaine curled into a ball and tried to make the pain stop. I don't get you, freak. What you acting like a girl for, huh? Everyone knows what you really are. Kaine ignored the question. She was instead stared at the weather vane. He continued to point east, as if supremely confident about the future he had chosen for her. Go home? Yeah, that's a funny joke for someone with dead parents and no home to go to. Freak, chanted children. Freak, freak, freak. Kaine closed her eyes and listened to the rain, waiting for the pain to start again. As the crushing hands of the village children closed around her, she bent her mind to the sound of the rain, letting it become her world entire. The rain fell. But the pain never came. Only when the laughter of her tormentors turned Only when the laughter of her tormentors turned to terrified cries did she dare open a single blood-caked eye. Kaine was shocked to see Dio sprawled on the ground, holding his head and screaming in pain. She could see blood welling from spaces between his fat, twisted fingers. My god, he's crying. He's actually crying. Deprived of their leader, the other children glanced back and forth between themselves, as if waiting for someone to step forward and take charge. Excuse me. When no savior emerged, they began an uneasy shuffle away from Kaine. But the young girls the least of their concerns. Instead, their attention was wrapped in the ancient woman's end a few feet away. How many weapons? It's been like a month or two. Oh, actually, I think it's been longer since I last played this game. I'm missing like 2 or 3 weapons. So, one was locked behind a side quest. Not sure about the other 2. After struggling for breath for a moment, she finally spoke in a voice thick with rage. Hurts like a bitch, don't it? I should just get scattered before I throw another one. And if any of you little bastards ever touch my Kaine again, I'll do far worse than throw a rock. You can count on it. The old woman crouched down and gently touched the hand Dima was using to cover the wound. Before he could think to protest, she ground her palms in the wound and twisted it back and forward. Ow, he screamed, leaping to his feet. Stop it, what are you doing? Quit whining. Ain't no one ever died from a scratch. You hit me with a rock, you stupid bitch. A big one. That thing could have killed me. The old woman shrugged. That is the best cure for stupid. Evil's face twisted with rage at her words. Knocking his eyes on Kaine, he took a step backward and fell on the ground. Get out. Leave this village. No one wants you here. Either of you. Seeing the old woman grab another stone, Dima's companions turned tail and ran. As they fled, the old woman grabbed her side and barked out a single laugh. Ha! Look at the fat boy go. Guess he's healthy enough to run from a fight. The woman's smile faded, she turned her attention to Kaine. Kneeling down, she removed her shawl and placed it around the young girl's shoulders. They produced a cloth from the folds of her dress and began blotting out the blood on her forehead. Oh, Kaine, she said. Why didn't you fight back? You're far stronger than that lot. The words of her grandmother stung Kaine, and she turned away. Don't be nice to me, she said. I don't deserve it. Nothing matters anymore. Her tears, held in check for so long, finally began to fall on the muddy ground below. Everyone hates me. They think I cause bad things to happen. They think I'm a freak. I wish I was dead. As Kaine's tears turned to sobs, she pulled her grandmother's hands on her shoulders. You hear the dogs in the background again. They're so grumpy all the time. Is that normal? I guess they're bored because they're not getting enough exercise. Despite her advanced age and diminutive size, she was a woman of surprising strength, and Kaine found herself unable to turn away. When I had a dog, she used to she used to dig holes in the back garden when she was lonely. It didn't happen too often though, only when I was away for really long trips. Don't talk like that, girl. It's a river wide and deep that flows between the realms of this world and the next, and it grants no mercy to any that attempt to cross them. You gotta do to fight until your last breath. Understand? The old woman tightened her grip and tried to still the tremor in her voice. You know the pain of losing someone close to you, kinda. You know because you survived it. As the words hit home, kinda was struck by the force of her love for the old woman. As a young child, she didn't even know her. As a young child, she didn't even know her grandmother. But when her parents died, the woman quickly accepted her as her own. Grandma, as Kinda called her, was cunning, vulgar, and quick to balance. And their first few years together had not been easy. But with each year that passed, Kinda and her grandmother had come closer. However, it was only now, sitting in the mud with tears and blood cake on her face, that Kinda truly understood the depths of her affection. I think even if I close the window won't change anything. No, it's not too distracting, I hope. Here was a woman who had seen hard times, who had seen death, who had fought through all these things and somehow emerged on the other side. If anyone could understand Kinda's pain and loneliness, it was her. Do I make you sick, Grandma? Of course not, don't be an ass. Kinda drew her grandma's mind eating a shawl around her body and shuddered. But my body, it's not normal. If I was normal, then Mom and Dad wouldn't. Hush, interrupt Grandma. I'll not hear another word, it's nonsense. You're my granddaughter, and I love you. And if folks have a problem with that, they can just go to hell. With that, the old woman reached out and placed a wreath of dry flowers in Kinda's hair. The skill it took to bend the flowers without breaking the stem to lose a single petal was remarkable, and the beauty of it made Kinda want to cry all over again. My gosh, these are lunar tears. Grandma, you made this for me? Lunar tears were legendary flowers. Most people could live their entire lives without ever seeing one, and yet her grandmother had somehow collected a dozen or more. Kinda reached up and touched the wreath as she couldn't believe it was real. Where did you find these? Just stumbled on them. I was out doing the shopping. The old woman turned away as she spoke, being Kinda suspected the search had been more difficult than she was letting on. The pain she took to construct the ornament, let alone track down the flowers used in the construction, made Kinda's heart hurt. She reached up and gently adjusted the wreath, admiring the way it felt between her fingers. Didn't quite turn out right, said her grandmother. She squinted at it. These old hands have trouble with delicate work, but sure looks good in a pretty girl like you. And I blushed and turned away. You think I'm pretty? Of course you are. What a fool thing to say. Thank you, Grandma. My grandmother smiled. We're gonna be fine, you and me, she said. As long as we got each other, we'll be just fine. Kinda took her grandmother's hand in hers, and the two of them showed to their feet. As they began the long walk home, Kinda gripped the hand with all her might, as if trying to stop smoke from drifting away in the wind. The rain had stopped. Kinda stood beneath the weather vane, watching it spin in lazy circles, no longer caring about the direction it faced when it stopped. I don't need to escape. I have a home now. Grandma loves me, and that's enough. Even if it's us against the world. Kinda let her gaze drift up past the bay and into the cloudy sky. The last faint hints of a rainbow were slowly fading. As she turned and headed for home, the light scattered into a million particles and vanished, seemingly taken away on the breeze. Kinda's dreams daily life. I think there's 4. I probably really was close to the end last time before I gave up. It was a terrible stream. Once again, I apologize for that. So, it's been such a long time, I don't think anyone even cares anymore. I don't think anyone even cared in the first place. I was the only one bothered by it. In the distance, Kinda heard the steady sounds of an axe striking wood. The noise had a purposeful quality to it, and she was hearing a master woodman go about his work. The firewood being produced, however, was as far from a work of artists could be. Pieces of every shape and size were being flung about a barren wood yard with wild abandon. Anyone trying to stack such wood would probably die of frustration before the job was through. Stupid piece of shit axe. Kinda's grandmother flew away with the axe, filled the air with both splinters of wood and words that would make the most hardened sailor blush. Grandma, called Kinda. That you, Kinda? Yelled the old woman, taking her eyes off the wood for a moment. Don't get too close, I might take your goddamn foot off by mistake. she brought the axe down on a piece of wood, sending ships flying in every direction. One spud passed Kaine close enough for her to hear the whistle, at which point she decided to step back. When she scuttled up a safe distance, scuttled to a safe distance, she cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, "Grandma, do you need help? I can get you water or lunch or a new axe or something." The axe poised to strike another wobbly blow. What weapon was I using again? I think I was using a spear. Paused in midair. The old woman considered her grandmother's offer for a moment, then smiled. "Tell you what, instead of doing such a piss poor job at chopping, why don't you come here and take over so I can go get the water? Chase have been restless lately. I don't want you running into one of them bastards." Relinquishing the axe, her grandmother picked up a long pole with wooden buckets on either end. Gathering water was by far the more difficult of the two jobs, but Kaine knew better than to complain. Once Grandma's mind was set, there was no changing it. Kaine did her best to help with chores, but Grandma took every task that required travel to the village. Though she had a long list of plausible excuses, Kaine knew the real reason. She didn't want her granddaughter to be taunted and harassed by the villagers. Once Kaine moved in, Grandma decided to take up residence a good distance from the area. Out of sight, out of mind seemed to be the best policy when it came to the villagers and her granddaughter. And rare were the days when any of the two of them could be found in a rocky acre of land they called home. Kaine enjoyed the solitude, but harbored a secret resentment that her grandmother was forced to spend her golden years in such a place. After watching her grandmother leave, Kaine turned her attention to the task at hand. She had never chopped wood before in her life, and soon discovered why the old woman hated the chore. Swing after swing of the axe produced only a tiny crack in the wood, and when she finally managed to connect with a solid stroke, the tool embedded itself in the log and refused to budge. Frustrated, Kaine swung the axe around her head and threw it, log and all, across the yard. Damn it. Oh, crap. She suddenly understood the joy her grandmother felt in a good curse. Happier now, she picked up the axe, forced it from the wood, and resumed chopping. She had natural skill with a blade, but the task was challenging, and blisters soon began to form her small pink hands. This is tough. My logs are all weird sizes. Spitting on her palms and ignoring the pain, Kaine redoubled her efforts. Just as she was developing a rhythm, Grandma returned from the village. Setting down her buckets with a small sigh, she took one look at the logs and coughed out a wheezy laugh. "Pretty clumsy, girl. You better practice if you..." Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing one of the buckets to wobble precariously. Eyes wide, Kaine dropped the axe and ran to her grandmother's side. "Grandma!" The old woman shook her head and pointed a trembling finger at the bucket. "Get the bucket. Can't let it spill." Kaine stayed the bucket with a foot as she knelt by her grandmother. A small bit of water sloshed over the side and made a new home in the hem of her dress, but Kaine didn't notice. "Grandma? Grandma, what's happening?" Crazed with panic, she grabbed her grandmother by the shoulders and shook. After a moment, the woman lifted her arms and batted Kaine away. "Stop that, just stop," she cried, breathing heavily. "It ain't like I'm dying. Just tired from the trip is all." Kaine desperately wanted to believe her, but one look at the old woman shake his hands and worn face told her more than words ever could. Her grandmother had lived a long, hard life, and had seen the bill finally coming due. The time when her grandmother watched over Kaine was ending. Soon NieR had feared the positions would be reversed. The next morning, Kaine came to the side of her grandmother's bed and took her wrinkled hand. "Grandma, you're sick, and you need medicine. I'm going to the village." Where did I stop again, now that I think about it? I think it was a bit into the third one. The old woman shook her head and tried to rise, but Kaine gently pushed her down. "It's alright," she said. "I'll be fine." Her grandmother fixed her with a gaze that could melt steel. After what seemed an eternity, she finally lowered her eyes and sighed. "Well, I don't like it, goddammit. But I guess I should quit being so stubborn and let you grow up." The old woman watched as Kaine strapped on her boots and made her way down the road to the village. Hours later, as an unseen sun made its way across the dark and rainy sky, she was still watching. Kaine moved at a brisk pace, checking her pockets every few minutes to make sure the money her grandmother gave her was still there. Every noise caused her to spin on her heels, making sure she wasn't being stalked by a shade, or worse, the Demon's gang. but she encountered neither tormentors nor shades, and Kaine finally found herself at the entrance to the village. A few thought she could see glanced sideways at her, then muttered to each other right behind raised hands before slinking away into the shadows. Her heart racing, Kaine took a series of rapid shallow breaths and tried to calm herself. I have to prove myself. I have to help Grandma. I have to be strong. She chanted those words to herself over and over as she slowly made her way. Finally, her eyes settled on a rotund older woman who was angrily waving her hands in the air and telling anyone who would listen exactly what she thought of Kaine's presence. Hey lady, said Kaine with a bravado she did not feel. Where's the apothecary? The woman's flabby cheeks shook in bewildered anger. How dare this thing speak to me, they seemed to say. But Kaine saw her eyes held a different emotion. Fear. Yeah, we're both scared, lady. Trust me on this one. Which way? Kaine repeated. The woman pointed at a small building to her right before hitching up her dress and stumbling off in other directions. Kaine cringed, expecting a stone to come flying from the assembled crowd, but none came. Her mind was filled with a strange sense of pride as she made her way to the apothecary. But the new emotion had little time to take root, for as soon as she opened the door, she noticed a familiar customer at the counter. It was Dima. He clearly was sent here on some kind of family errand, because his gang of followers were nowhere to be found. Oh my god, he spluttered. I mean, what are you doing here, freak? The insult was delivered out of force, and Kaine happily ignored it. Stretching on tiptoes to see over the counter, she asked the shopkeeper for the medication. How old is Kaine supposed to be during this? She asked on her tiptoes. I guess she's still a child? Or still not fully grown, at least? Ha, barked Dima. That old bitch finally keeled over. Go to hell, Dima. The boy's eyes grew so wide he seemed ready to fall out of his head. But before he could let fly a comeback, or worse, a punch, the apothecary told him to knock it off or he kicked him out of the store. Dima slunk out of the shop, cursing Kaine under his breath. Once he was gone, she allowed herself to breathe once more, taking a brief tour of the shop while the owner prepared her medication. Countless tiny bottles filled the store, each with a label written in some indecipherable language. An ocean of aromas assaulted her nose, creating a scent that was exotic but not altogether unpleasant. Seeing such a variety of supplies gave Kaine a sense of peace. Surely, in a world so vast, there'd be a place she could call home. On the far wall behind the counter rested a portrait of a stunning young girl. The picture at once contained bright, vibrant colors, but time worked its cruel magic, and they began to fade. The beauty of the work, however, remained undiminished. You like that picture? Kaine turned to find the apothecary with a small bottle of medicine in his hand. His eyes were gentle but sad, and they seemed to stare through her and into nothing as he spoke. That's my daughter. I sketched it when she was just a little girl. She's been dead a long time now. Kaine didn't know how to respond. She just stared at the portrait and tried to come up with the right words. Pictures are wonderful things, continued the shopkeeper. Let the ones closest to you live on forever. He shook his head slightly, then looked down at Kaine and smiled. Handing her the medicine, he reached into a sizable green apron and produced a handful of old wax crayons. You should have these. There's no one left that I wish to draw. Kaine took an instinctive step back, causing the shopkeeper's face to darken. Yes, I've heard rumors about you, he said. It's a small village, and word travels quickly. Between you and me, I'm not sure which of them to believe, but I also don't think they matter much. I know your grandmother Callie, and I think the way she was driven out to town was just deplorable. Grandma's name is Callie? Thought Kaine suddenly. She was still mulling this new fact over in her mind as she reached out and gently took the crayons from the apothecary's hands. Your grandmother is an old friend of mine, he said as Kaine screwed away yet again. And I owe her much. I wager she would like if you drew a picture of her. Yes, I think she would like that very much. Kaine murmured a quiet agreement, but inside her heart was bursting. Never before had a village retreat were anything but complete content. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible step, but it was a step nonetheless. And with enough tiny steps, she might one day discover the rest of the world. When Kaine returned home, she found her grandmother asleep on her bed. Her feet were blackened and raw, even bleeding a bit in places, making Kaine think she'd been pacing around the room until exhaustion finally caught up with her. She placed the medicine by her grandmother's pillow and turned to leave, but found the old woman's hand clasped around her arm. Back already, are you? Asked her grandmother with a yawn. Come here, let me have a look at you. Let me have a look at you. I tried to say take and have at the same time. Grandma sat up and examined Kaine from head to toe. Finally satisfied that nothing terrible had befallen her grandchild, she leaned back and allowed herself to relax. Well, how was it? Those bastards give you any trouble? It was kind of fun, said Kaine with a small smile. No, seriously, it was. Fun, eh? Asked the grandmother in a voice which implied she believed anything but. Uh-huh, so anytime you need me to run an errand, just let me know. As she spoke, Kaine removed the crayons from her pocket. After a brief explanation of their source, she informed her grandmother she was going to sketch her portrait. A portrait of me? Ridiculous. No one wants to stare at a wrinkled old crone. But Grandma, I'll make you live forever. Poor shit, said her grandmother, throwing back the sheet from her bed. Living forever would just piss me off. Now put those crayons away and help with dinner. But Kaine would not relent, and in the end, Grandma found herself leaning against the wall of their house as if posing for a master artist. Kaine took up the crayons, eyed her subject carefully, and set to work. Just as her grandma was about to nod off, Kaine finished the piece. After staring at it for a bit, she released it from her grip and left it slowly drip to the floor. It's terrible. Doesn't look like you at all. I'm sorry, Grandma. I thought these crayons would, you know, make drawing easy or something. The old woman's eyes narrowed at her grandmother's disappointment. Let me be the judge of that, she said, ignoring the pain in her back and reaching for the paper. A sketch could have been a person's face. It also could have been a boulder, a lump of clay, or an incredibly misshapen loaf of bread, all rendered into a chaotic array of colours. The old woman stared at the picture for a long time, then slowly wheezed out and laughed. Oh, Kaine, she said between laughter. You truly are my blood. You're as clumsy as me, and I love it. But... hush, I won't hear any more bull about how ugly you think this is. It came from the heart, and I'll treasure it always. True to her word, the old woman gave the picture a glance of honour. I know, a place of honour, above the kitchen table. In the days that followed, Kaine would often catch her staring at the portrait with a strange smile on her face, an action she interpreted as smile and mocking laughter. A week later, Kaine could stand it no more, and asked her grandmother to take the artwork down. Hush, said the old woman. I'll take this down when they roll me in my shroud. She pondered this for a bit, then turned to Kaine and dropped to one knee. Listen to me, girl. Seeing this picture makes me happy in a way I've never felt before. And it makes me want to go on, so that someday you can feel the same happiness. It was a moment that burned us up into Kaine's memory. A perfect blend of pride and love and joy that came together to form a lifelong remembrance. She swore to never forget this moment, to never forget the old woman who had made her place in this world possible. Time moves on. People and memories move in and out of a life like ghosts passing through a hall. But this moment will be different, Kaine swore, because I remember forever. Forever. Kaine's dream separation. I think this is the one I gave up on. As in the middle of reading this? Or maybe it was a bit more, because apparently I was streaming for an hour at the point where I gave up. So I guess I might have gone on a few tangents. Well, here there's no one to talk to, it's just me. So I can focus and then... Well, focus isn't the right word. Focus makes it sound like it was a distraction. How to describe it? Well, anyway. Kaine listened to the sound of crackling firewood and stared at the black object in her plate. She'd been pushing around a wooden disc for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the bemused stare of her grandmother. Finally, she summoned her courage to give the object a brief sniff. A sharp, bitter scent flew up her nostrils and made a home there, causing her face to twist with disgust. Grandma, I can't believe you want me to eat a bug. The old woman threw some more wood under the cooking pot and snorted. It's no bug, you fool girl, it's a berry. Why the hell would I be feeding you bugs? Yeah, well, it sure looks like a bug, said Kaine. I think it's burnt or something, because it smells terrible. With that, Kaine held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth. She knew as little as possible. Oh yeah, that's terrible, alright. Why, you know, brat, laughed the old woman. The sass on you. You spend too much time with me, and that's a fact. 5 years had passed since the moment Kanye's grandmother saved. Wait, 5 years had passed since the moment when Kanye's grandmother saved her from the bullies. As is often the way with two stubborn people, the relationship would grow in fits and starts, but move forward all the same. Meals that used to be somber affairs were now filled with laughter and hurled abuse in equal measure. Kanye could not remember a time when she'd been happier. As the years went by, Kanye started to shoulder more and more of the daily responsibilities. Her grandmother's legs grew weaker by the day, and she could no longer do many of the chores she used to take for granted. And so this morning found Kanye lacing up her work boots with a breakfast of burned berry rolling through her belly. "Where are you going today?" asked Grandma suddenly. Should I say that differently? "Where are you going today?" Kanye looked up, surprised. The old woman rarely asked for specifics. Specifics, that's a difficult word to say sometimes. The old woman rarely asked for specifics anymore. Well, I was going to check on the check out the kelma trees and see if they're ripe. I thought we could make some jam or something. Oh, and I'm going to pick up some flagstones, so I need to take the wheelbarrow. Flagstones? What the hell for? Kanye stared at her grandmother, then held out an arm and swept around her home. Constructed mostly of clout, rope, and rubble, the old place sagged like a boxer in the final round. "Grandma, a dying cat chewed through this house. I'm going to build a stone wall so we have some protection." The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin to the world. Goddamn girl, if a bunch of thieves want to ransack this old place, let them come. We got nothing worth stealing anyway. I'm not worried about thieves, I'm worried about shades. People saw one west of the village yesterday. The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. "Oh shoot, I don't know what you can do today. We can worry about some other..." "Grandma, no. If I don't go to the kelma trees, we won't eat tonight. You know that." A confused expression passed across the old woman's face, and for a moment she was a small child lost in the carnival. "Yes," she said after a bit. "Yes, of course you're right. I'm sorry, Kanye. Lately it seems my mind is..." She didn't finish the thought, instead walking over to her nightstand and gently taking the wreath of blue tears from the drawer. The flower spell had aged to a brilliant whiteness, and Kanye thought it was more beautiful now than the day she first received it. "You're going to be a true woman soon," Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. "So that means less chatter about shades and building defensive walls and more talk about how beautiful you become." Annoyed, Kanye reached up to remove the garland, but the look on her grandmother's face stopped her hand. "You're a beautiful thing," said the old woman, "and there ain't another like you in all the world. I'm very proud of you." "Okay, Grandma, it's enough goddamn compliments for one day." "Such a mouth on you. Where did that come from?" "Gee, I wonder." "I'll teach you to sass me, girl," wailed Grandma. Suddenly, she lurched forward and grabbed Kanye by the ears, pulling her around the room with a crazed grin on her face. "Grandma," yelled Kanye in a quaking voice. "Grandma, stop it, what the hell?" The old woman stared at her and blinked, then slowly held her wrinkled hands out as if it was the first time she'd ever seen them. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, girl. Sometimes my mind just..." Kanye thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she'd ever seen. "Listen," she began, "maybe I should stay home after all." "No, I won't have you stay here to keep an eye on an old codger like me. You go get your fruit and your wall and whatnot. I'll be fine. And when you come back, I'll have a nice grasshopper dinner waiting for you." Kanye rolled her eyes and kissed her grandmother on the forehead and made ready for depart. Did I say for? Trying desperately to ignore the worry that was gnawing to the walls of her heart. Kanye could feel the old woman's eyes watching her as she moved down the path. Don't turn around, she told herself. But in the end, the temptation was too great. She spun on her heel for one final look and saw a small bent woman standing in front of a ramshackle hut with a sad expression on her face. God, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could reach down and just carry her away. Kanye worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to suffer. What little fruit she could collect was tossed carelessly into the wheelbarrow, and she only found a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, she decided to call it a day. Cursing herself for the lack of focus, Kanye pushed the nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. As she crested the final hill, she suddenly froze in place. The wheelbarrow fell from her fingers and collapsed on its side, sending a few pieces of wrinkled brown fruit rolling back down the hill. gaze was transfixed by a thick black cloud that hovered just ahead. Tracing its path with a finger, Kenny suddenly felt her stomach not in on itself. No, oh gods, no. Her grandmother's house was ablaze, the flames licking up as they tried to touch the sky itself. Grandma? Grandma! Kenny ran then, faster than she'd ever moved in her life. Once she tripped on a stone and went sprawling to the rocky ground, but she leapt to her feet and continued running, unmindful of the blood that spilled from her wounded hands and knees. As she got closer and closer, Kenny's mind began to race in time with her footfalls. It's too dark. It's too dark, not just fire. Can't be fire, too much smoke. Gotta save her, gotta save her. She burst into the front yard and came to a sudden halt. Her worst suspicions confirmed. The smoke from the fire was mingled with the thick inky blackness of an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on 3 twisted feet, and its cheek balanced through means of a large armoured tail. Scales, horns, and claws sprouted from its body in random chaotic pattern, giving it the appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. Seeing Kaine, it let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending small whirlpools spinning towards it. Wait, no, sending small whirlwinds spinning around the yard. For a moment, the creature retreated into a shimmering inky blackness, as if her mind wasn't able to comprehend such a thing could actually exist. But then the smell hit her, a blend of rotted meat and excrement, and the horror became real once more. The creature bellowed again, and this time Kanye responded with a scream of her own. Alright, you bastard, she thought as the scream echoed off the high cliffs around him. It's you or me, let's go. The shade eyed Kanye with amused interest, then began looking from her to the house and back again, as if urging her to look at the destruction it so gleefully wrought. With dread building up in her heart, Kanye glanced towards the house. Through the smoke and flames, she spotted a small figure struggling to escape the ruins. Grandma! At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving frantically. She's alive, thought Kanye. Alive! Kanye's legs sprang to life as she raced across the yard towards the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, the shade opened its mouth and let out a roar powerful enough to uproot trees and send them flying. Uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Kanye tumbling through the air before smashing her against the rocky earth. Stars dancing from her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs worked. Get up. Get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up now. As Kaya struggled to her feet, the shade stomped towards the house and pinned her grandmother to the ground with a tip of a claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach, but she might as well have been pushing a mountain. She coughed briefly, sending a small spray of blood into the air, then collapsed to the ground, her energy spent. Kaya lurched to her feet, only to fall back to earth with a gasp. Her ankles were on fire. One or both of them were surely broken. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began dragging herself across the ground, leaving a drunken trail of dust and blood in her wake. Grandma, hold on. Just no longer. Her grandmother's face was turning blue, her eyes rolling back until only the whites were exposed. Kanye pulled herself across the ground with maddening slowness, the distance seeming to increase with every second that passed. The shade glanced between the two women and flicked out its tongue, its giant mouth turned up at the corners. Short panting breaths belched from somewhere deep inside its core. Bastard, laughing at us. She had no idea how such a mindless creature could experience emotion, but there could be no doubt the shade was taking joy in their suffering. Yeah, I see your plan. The shade moved with claws slightly, allowing Grandma to breathe again. It was clearly keeping her alive, wanting to snuff out her life when Kanye was close enough to touch her. I'm gonna kill this bastard. Stunning all of her strength, Kanye rose to her feet. There was a sickening snap from her right ankle as the foot twisted backwards, but she forced it from her mind and began to hobble towards the monster. Pulling a small knife from the pouch at her waist, she leapt on the foot to pin her grandmother and plunged the weapon deep. Give her back, she screamed. Give her back to me. It was like stabbing a rock. After a few swipes, the knife broke at the hilt with a dull snap. A shade panted in laughter again, then raised its tail and sent it rushing through the air towards the young girl lashed to its foot. Kanye never had a chance. The tail struck her square in the chest and sent her crashing into the burnt wreckage of the house. As she lay on the ground with blood pouring from multiple wounds, a small weak voice spoke up. Kanye? Kanye's vision blurred, but she forced herself to focus on the sound. Finally, her eyes cleared enough for her to make out her grandmother's hands reaching out for her through the smoke. Grandma? Kanye. You gotta run. You can't best this one. Kenny grabbed her hands and held on with all her strength. Grandma, come on. We have to go. The old woman coughed loudly. One of her hands, slick with blood, slipped from Kenny's grasp and dumped to the ground below. Grandma, no. No! I said run, goddammit. You have to. Have to live. You have to get through. The thought would stay forever unfinished. Before she could say another word, the shade's claw's foot descended, smashing through the remains of the roof and down upon the shattered figure of the old woman. Blood oozed from the gaps in the creature's toes as the terrible putrid smell assaulted Kanye's nose once again. She stared at the floor, dumbfounded, convinced that what she was seeing could not possibly be real. When the creature finally lifted its appendage, all that remained underneath was a twisted and unrecognizable mass of rubble and red. Her grandmother was gone. Kanye blinked, trying to feel the hand which had been in hers just a moment before. For a fleeting instant, she could remember the warmth of that embrace, the trembling of the fingers, but then the sensation drifted away in the breeze and was gone. Memories flashed through Kanye's mind, one after the other, faster and faster, until they became a meaningless jangle of noise. Kanye screamed then, a thunderous sound that echoed off the cliffs and seemed to roll away forever. The shade eased forward. Black Ichor? Ichor? I think it was Ichor because it's in code vein. Didn't they call it Ichor? Black Ichor poured from his mouth and saw him and smoke on the ground below. The earth shook with every step as it crept towards his prey. Kanye's body slowly rose as if controlled by a mad puppet master. Her arms and legs were bent at impossible angles, her head lolled dangerously to the side, yet somehow she managed to stand. Staring at the shade, her eyes began to glow with a deep red fire. The creature, so confident just moments before, took a slow, hesitant step backward, trying to see if this broken human could possibly pose a threat. Kanye seized the moment. Laughing like a madwoman, she leapt into the air and plunged the shattered hilt of her knife deep into the leg of the shade. The shade shook Kanye off like a fly, sending her crashing to the earth once again. Her chest rose and fell slowly, as if a great weight were resting on it. Moist sounds of pain echoed through her mind. That was a terrible sentence. Something warm and thick oozed from her ears. Is that blood? I think it is. I think I'm bleeding to death. No, can't die. Grandma told me to live. Deep inside Kanye's mind, something finally broke. The sound, the pain, the smoke and flames, all would fade away until all that remains was a single incantation, repeated over and over again. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. I think I gave up shortly after this. Kill it now. As it sparked out its kindness slowly began to flicker and die, she felt her desire to kill and her desire to live blend into one. The distance between heartbeats grew longer, and longer, and longer. Oh! Wait. I thought there was more to this unless there's this cutscene first. Also, Kanye's wearing A2's outfit.
The beast approaches. Oh, I know.
Oh right, I forgot there's a boss fight, and then after this, the dogs are still barking. I think the cats outside, they kind of go out of their way to annoy the dogs. It's just, wait, how do you play this again? It's been such a long time. And yeah, I am using the spear. Let's see. Oh, this is it.
What anger this creature must have. How did it even survive these past 5 years?
I'm not gonna let this happen again.
Isn't there like a knockdown button? Yeah, there it is.
My sword feels lighter. It's not the blade, but the skill of the user. Strike it down.
Oh yeah, if you ever remember this, I was doing this and thought, okay, it must be over. I guess I continue on as normal now. It's finally over. And then there's another one. I'm missing something. I have to see this. Here we go. I have for separation, so I think it's just one more left. Forgot what it's called though. Honestly, I think this game's just okay. The story I already know because I've seen someone else play it before. The gameplay is alright. I can't expect it to be more exciting, I guess. I like the characters though. The side quests are a lot of them are fetch quests. But I guess that's like a lot of games. Kind of dreams encounter. The main story part though is pretty short if you're just focusing on that. Gently. Weakly. Softly. The shade, sure as Tormentor was dead, turned and stomped off towards the horizon, stopping along the way to bellow one final roar. Couldn't kill it. Shame beyond imagining, Kanye tried to turn her head to the side, only succeeded in coughing up a huge gout of blood. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize her left eye was gone. Laughing to herself, she turned her remaining eye to the ruins of her home and noticed a ragged stump of arm. Resting a few feet away. Yeah, that's fine, she thought with a mad giggle. It's gonna make clapping a real bitch. Oh, this is... I think I gave up around this point. I was trying to read this voice, but I gave up. What's your name again? Like, no, I won't. Ha, cried a sudden voice from depths of her mind. Finally gonna die, are you? Well, you had it coming. What the hell, Demo? She thought, the unseen assailant. Could I help before I pluck out your eyes and feed them to a dog? The voice of her childhood terror evaporated into smoke, only to be replaced by another, more recent voice. Hold still, said the apothecary, materializing from the ruins like a ghost. I want to draw you. That way you can live forever. No, stop. Don't want to live forever. I want to die right here. I see, he said quietly. Well, if that's what you want. A spectral shopkeeper fluttered in and out of existence for a moment, then produced a piece of paper and sketched quite quickly. After a few seconds, he turned the page to Kaine and smiled. Since you rejected my offer, I decided to draw someone else. It was a picture of her grandmother, wields a knife. Kaine opened her mouth to thank the man, but stopped as the picture began to blacken in the middle. Before she could say anything, dozens of multi-legged insects began to swarm across the image, tearing at it with sharpened pincers. Stop, no, don't hurt that picture. Kaine reached out with her remaining arm and waved futilely at the air. To her surprise, the insects fell off the picture into the ground below, where they vanished into tiny black tendrils of smoke. Relieved, Kaine turned her good eye back to the picture, only to open her mouth in a silent scream. The sketch now showed her grandmother she truly was, a smashed, unrecognizable lump of nothing. The apothecary smiled, then broke into a jolly dance. See that, he cried as he danced his jig? It's perfect now. She looks just like you. Patch-cha-cha. I look like that? Oh god, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Trying in despair, Kaine laid her head back in the mud and spoke. Drowning in despair, Kaine laid her head back in the mud and spoke of her ruined house and waited for the end to come. But just before she let everything go, an unfamiliar voice began whispering in her ear. Ain't you got a wish, Sunshine? The voice was vulgar and fierce at the same time, as if insanity had somehow found a way to take form. Kaine wanted to scream with the voice crawled under her skin, but her lungs refused to work. You know, a wish, like a prayer or something. Once you get on your knees and start praying to heaven. Please, invisible man in the sky, save me, save me. Kaine finally restored a shout at the voice in her mind. I don't make wishes, they don't come true for me. I'm a curse, a freak. I should be left to die. Yet her voice boomed in her ears. Oh god, you're the best. Kaine glanced down and saw a black shiny substance oozing from her legs. She tried to brush it away, but her remaining arm would no longer respond. The substance slowly crept around her feet, and then began moving up towards the rest of her body. Is this dead? Is this what it's like? Or is my mind just losing itself? She could feel the slime oozing upward, feel the hot searing pain left in its wake. Whatever else might be happening, she was still alive, and this is real. Come on, said the voice. Let it go. Kaine tried to ignore the voice and concentrate on the pain, but the newcomer would have none of it. Don't ignore me, sunshine. You're ready to give up. Ready to die. So why not let me have it? Have what? Your body. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. I'll stand on the ground, feel the rain, taste the wind. The voice paused as if licking his lips, and it resumed. It was full of mad, unabated joy. And I want to take your hands and use them to choke the goddamn life out of people. I want to tear off their throats and bathe in the blood, just like before. In response, Kaine shifted her head and vomited. The warmth of it crept down her front and mingled with the pain of the encroaching black ooze. Are you a shade? Yeah, maybe. What of it? A slime reached her face, crept up past her nose, and slowly oozed from the socket of her missing eye. And when it touched her brain, Kaine was struck by the most powerful sensation she ever felt in her life. It was ecstasy. Ecstasy. She wanted to scream with delight, but all she could manage was a small whispered moan. Feels good, don't it? Asked the voice with a chuckle. Yeah, what can I say? I know how to please the ladies. Now give me that body. Come on, give me the body, I'll give you more of this film. It's a fair trade. A black lump began to protrude from Kaine's side. As she watched, it grew longer and thicker, eventually taking the form of her missing arm. I could see better, she thought. My eye must be growing back too. A slime reached up to envelop the rest of her face, but she managed to brush it away. Stop, she whispered, marveling how she regained her voice. Stop. A black ooze hesitated, as if considering this request. It quickly shimmered down her body before disappearing in a cloud of smoke. What the hell, sunshine? Screamed the voice. We had a deal. I thought you wanted to die. Grandma said, can't die yet. A brief image of her grandmother, bloodied and broken, flashed before her eyes. She saw the shade that had killed her and heard his mocking laughter. Then closed her eyes and forced the image from her mind. Her whole body was quaking with rage. When she opened her eyes again, they burned bright red. That thing took my grandmother. I have to kill it before I die. Kaine glanced down and saw a mysterious pattern. The pattern of the shades, burnt up into her left arm. Well, I'll be damned, said the voice cheerfully. Look at that, sunshine. I think you and me are going to be good friends now. Kaine stared intently at her arm. The more emotional she felt, the more the letter seemed ready to punch her skin and begin infecting the rest of her body. The arm clearly had a will of its own now. Stop. God, stop. Holding her left arm on her right, Kaine took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. Come on, don't fight it, pleaded the voice. It's my favorite dish and I'm hungry. Let it go, feel the anger, burn with the fire of revenge, thirst for blood, then go out there and... Shut up and get the hell out of my body. Your body? Oh, that's rich, sunshine. Real rich. Look, why don't you just get up and die so I can have this body all to myself? What do you say? I bet those weddings yours and the Aries would love to see you dead. Kaine grabbed a nearby shattered glass and tried to saw off the shade-infected portion of her side. Before she could, her darkened left arm grabbed her right wrist. Her darkened left arm grabbed her right wrist, crushing it. Kaine screamed and dropped a shard as the sound of bone. Kaine screamed and dropped a shard as the sound of bone crunching on bone filled the air. Stupid idiot girl, you're possessed now, sunshine, and there ain't no going back. The voice laughed again. A loud, long wail that seemed to go on without end. Possessed? Whispered Kaine. Yeah, possessed. You and me? We got what you might call a timeshare arrangement. Remember how folks used to think you were a freak? Oh, wait till they get a load of you now. Kaine looked up, tears in her eyes. The sky seemed smaller somehow, darker. Is this because of that shade? Is this how they see the world? So, listen, purred the voice. I know this whole possession thing seems a bit sudden, but it ain't all that bad. There's plenty of in it for you, too. I'm a very powerful creature, sunshine. And now that power belongs to you. You got enemies? People you want to kill? I can make it happen. That little fat kid that kept picking on you? That big old shade that squashed your granny? We'll wrap them up in their own assholes. No more abuse for you, sunshine. No more pain. But wait, said Kaine. You're a shade. Why would you help me kill another shade? Wow, you think I'm some kind of racist? Some kill snob? I don't give a good goddamn who you murder, honey pants. I just want to drink from the wall. Kaine considered this as she struggled to her feet, the power of the shade coursing through her. The smoke from her house was drifting away with the wind, and she enjoyed the way the cool evening breeze felt in her new left arm. After a long pause, the voice spoke up again. So, how about it? You and me? We got some good times together. No, go even take care of the bloody pair if you don't want. I'm looking to say this though. It feels out of character for me. Fuck off, asshole. Let her kinda. I'll handle the killing. Screamed the voice. That was terrible. That wasn't even a laugh. Look at you go. Oh, sunshine, we're gonna have so much fun. So listen, my name's Tyron. Oh, that's what it was. I thought it was Tyrion. See? I can't even get my own spoilers right. And if you ever need me, I'll just be hanging out in this piece of meat you call a heart. Now get to it. The more you kill, the more your heart turns rotten and sour. And I like rotten and sour. Kinda found herself nodding at the voice. Yeah, she said. Yeah, I think this can work. I'm gonna find that shade, and I'm gonna strangle its own guts. And when I'm done, I'm gonna do the same to you, Tyron. Count on it. Ha, laughed Tyron. I shit bigger than you, so good luck with that. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Right now, you and me are sharing this body. If you ever run out of hate, if you ever, you know, go soft, I'm gonna take over everything. So keep on killing, sunshine, and watch your back. The voice grew fainter and gradually faded away. Fading to somewhere deep inside Kaine herself. Kaine waited until she was sure the voice was gone, then waved her new left arm around a few times. It feels perfectly normal, she thought. It feels like mine. Desperately, she began poking and prodding at the new limb, determined to find something wrong with it. She didn't want it to feel normal. That would mean the creature inside her had already won. I am not a shade. I am Kaine. Repeating this mantra in her mind, she slowly began digging through the rubble of her house, being careful to ignore a certain red-stained spot in the corner. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of heartbreaking work, she found what she was looking for. It was a wreath of lunar tears. Though it had been through hell and back, the garland's petals were as bright as ever. Kaine started to place it in her hair, and slowly lowered the wreath and stared at it. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm so sorry. But I don't deserve to wear this anymore. I'm possessed, corrupted, a freak. And this time, I don't think there's any going back. Holding the flowers to her heart, Kaine fell to the ground and sobbed. As night gradually lightened to dawn, the people of the area rose to their daily lives. She remained in that position, as if tears could somehow wash away the horror that now infected her world.
Alive! Stay alive! Stay alive!
Grandma.
Kaine, you gotta live! You gotta come back to us!
Oh, hey. Emil, you were the one calling me, weren't you?
You still recognize me?
Of course. I knew you right away.
Thank you, Kaine.
Welcome back, Kaine.
Wow, you grew up. So, how long has it been?
5 years.
I see we're for dead here.
Shit. That's a long time. Any luck with Yonah?
We are still no closer to finding her. We need a way to locate the Shadow Lord.
By the way, this is for you.
Is that a lunar tear?
It's not as good as your grandmother's, but I tried.
No, it's great. Thank you.
I want to see what A2's outfit looked like. You're in curiosity. Honestly,
Kaine waking from her long petrified sleep. Emil's unflagging kindness. Our reunion was a happy one, and we let it wash over us like rain. That is, until Devila and Popola had to go and ruin it all. Are you kidding me? You can't be serious!
Please, try to understand. People are tired and scared, and... I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to bear the brunt of that.
This is crap, and you know it!
It's okay. We can sleep outside.
No one's sleeping outside. You and Kaine saved this village, and now they want to run you out?
People are afraid of us. And really, I understand. I mean, look at me.
It's not the same. I think the new dialogue is just during the boss fights.
As long as you're still with us, I can deal with it.
Alright, I
Right,
was saying something,
Kaine?
wasn't I? I prefer everyone's original outfits.
I'm used to sleeping outside.
But...
We'll see you later.
Sorry about this.
What did we have to do after
is
all
the
this
matter?
again?
Kaine always sleeps outside. I never thought about that until just now. It never even occurred to me. Damn it.
We should turn in.
Even when she lived on her own, she would have slept outside.
I didn't get much sleep that night. For the first time in my life, I hated Devila. For the first time in my life, I doubted Popola. But those feelings are pointless in the end. They said and did what they did for the sake of the village. To protect it from the horror of the Shades. Really, how can I blame Devila and Popola? In the end, I'm just as bad. Because I never once stopped to think about Kaine and Emil's situation myself.
I think I might actually stop here. Normally I keep going, but then my voice kind of hurts from all the reading. I also streamed earlier today, so I was doing a lot of talking, more than usual. But now I need to decide what I'm going to do. Am I going to stream the rest of
I should
this?
apologize to Kaine and Emil. But what good would that even do?
I got a fire going, Kaine.
Wait, is that?
I think this is new.
Weird, aren't they? I feel like I could I'm so happy to get to talk to you again, Kaine.
This is new.
Yeah, me too.
I tried everything I could think of to save you, you know. I polished you with a special cloth. I poured warm water over you.
Wait, you poured water on me?
Yeah, but it didn't really do much except make you all shiny.
Hey, Emil. Thanks for saving me.
I guess you noticed how I look different now.
I'm sorry, Emil. I'm sorry for all of it.
Well, I mean, this new form isn't all bad, you know? At least I can look at you when we talk, right? Hey, so why don't you tell me something about yourself?
I'm not very interesting. Sorry.
Come on, I just want to know you better.
Fine. This all happened when I was a kid. Before the whole shade possession thing. My body is... different. And when the villagers found out about it, they started treating me like a freak. But one person, my grandmother, accepted me just as I was. No matter how bad things got, she gave me the strength to keep going.
She's really special to you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, hey! That gives me an idea. Since we cured your petrification, we should start looking for a way to cure your possession in my body. I know we can do it if we all work together. Heck, it'll probably be super easy.
Let me guess. More warm water?
Okay, can we just forget I told you about that?
No, that was sweet. And it's still going. It's going to stand there the whole time. Go talk to your friends. No, guess they are kind of having a moment. I think I can save after this. Right. What are we even doing again?
Sleep well?
Sure.
And yet your red eyes tell a different tale. Don't be so hard on yourself, lad.
I need to go see Devila and Popola.
Very well.
When is DLC unlock? Or was it DLC? I think it was built in. It was DLC in the original game, but in this remake it's built in, I think. Oopsie. It was like a dungeon, wasn't it?
What might that be?
It's Mom's diary.
Oh, this is it.
I have not heard you speak much about your mother.
She got the Black Scrawl and died when I was little.
My apologies for bringing it up.
It's all right. I can barely remember her face anymore. This is the only thing I have left of her. Reading it helps remind me of when we were still a family.
I see.
But the final entries get a little strange.
In what way?
Well, here. Take a look.
I think this is just a gauntlet. There wasn't anything story related to this, was there? You get costumes from this apparently, bonus ones.
Say there.
Oh, and also in... Wait, which version is this? The one with Brother NieR was Replicant, I think? And guess what was the one with Dad NieR? But in the version with Dad NieR is his wife instead.
Can you not hear me?
There he is, Dad NieR. Me. Apparently
Why
some...
are you standing about
Hey.
like a slack-jawed ninny?
I'm trying to talk.
Sorry. Felt like I was dreaming or something.
He's so much cooler.
Sleeping on one's feet is quite the talent indeed. Come now, there's the door.
Right. Let's go.
I lost my train of thought now. Oh well. See, beyond funny, be honest, save the battle's over. Oh, should I save now? Can I do that? Let's see. I can only save in post boxes. Yeah, I suppose I can come back to this later. I don't know if I can show this though, because it's only a bonus thing, isn't it? Let's see, there's costumes, materials, grinding, I guess, for levels. I don't know if there's anything actually important, because this was originally DLC.
Something wrong?
I feel as if I've just awoken from a most unpleasant dream.
I should research this afterwards and double check.
I know what you mean. That happens to me whenever I read it.
Anyway. Oh, also, speaking of costumes, I go back to my menu, I should change one back to normal. I think it's just Kaine who's wearing a special costume. Was I going crops? Would it be dead now if I was? Anyway, that's enough for today. I want to get back to this game and finish it, and then we can move on to NieR Automata at some point. Oopsie. That's not games I want to get through though. Experience. Whatever you want. I don't want to do this too often. But anyway. I'm glad I was able to finish the reading part. It wasn't too bad once I just forced myself to keep going. I'm overthinking things too much. And worrying too much as well. Anyway. I'm starting to ramble. Goodbye.